What up, what up, what up? Um, I just got to get this off my chest, right? Talking about the broader picture, right? The state of the planet, the state of the world, right? As we know it. I was driving home from work and I was listening to a song and it mentioned Nickelodeon and something about a scandal or a documentary. And then I talked to AI because I talk to AI on my phone. I can just, like Siri, ask it a question. So I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole with Nickelodeon and she, right? Siri, whatever, let's just call her a she, right? Uh, she told me that there was a documentary about Nickelodeon, and it turns out that for decades, the people that were gatekeeping uh, certain positions and certain executives or CEOs, billionaires, directors, certain people, I don't know their names, you can just look it up, Nickelodeon scandal or Nickelodeon documentary. But the actor Drake Bell, or I don't know if that's his real name, but the guy from Drake and Josh, he said that he was um, victimized by sexual abuse, right, when he was younger, when he was a child star. And a lot of child stars go to Nickelodeon to want to become successful, their parents send them there. And it turns out that there's a whole like sex scandals, sexual abuse scandals, with these rich executives, billionaires, and they're you know touching children or being involved with minors, and apparently they even hired people that they know have history of sexual abuse, right? It's documented, and they still hired them, right? And it's just a typical structure of the people that are in these positions of power, right, that own the networks or are the face of the networks, or they're just people that have in high positions, they're trusted with people's children, and it's the perfect environment to do this nasty stuff because what happens is there's other predators like them, and they all keep it a secret amongst each other. And if any scandal happens, if any whistleblower comes out or somebody's parent says, "Hey, you touched my kid," or something like that, then they have a team of lawyers, the highest paid lawyers, right? So they can get you out of anything. They sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, so you can't talk out on them. They can even pay their parents off so they keep their mouth shut. And also plausible deniability. They can just say it never happened. Where's your proof? And then they have the other executives or members that back them up because they are also dirty. And what they do is, if you have dirt on you and you want to partake in these types of activities, it's perfect. So everybody knows everyone's dirt. So no one can come out and expose any of the people or the members in the same group, right? Because if they try to expose them, then they can just get exposed because they have dirt on them, right? So blackmailing type of thing. It's a perfect system for this degeneracy and filth and predatory behavior to occur, right? Who's going to stop them? No one can see them. They're rich as fuck. They do it all in, and then they prey on the most vulnerable people, right? So this is the Nickelodeon thing, and it's just so disgusting and stupid, right? And I'm not when I realized when I was talking to AI today, and she told me that this is what happened. I just started thinking about Tom Cruise, Scientology, the same sort of thing going on there. Tom Cruise, billionaire, but so much abuse going on with not necessarily younger, minor kids, but just maybe teenagers or even people in their 20s or adults. Just the abuse that's happening there. Then you think of all the religious cults. You think of Weinstein, the entertainment industry. You think of Epstein Islands. You think of Diddy, gatekeeping. Diddy, one of the biggest gatekeepers for a music executive that, provides people opportunities and connections. A lot of people need to actually go through Diddy, and he's locked up, and we know all the abuse and crazy shit he was involved with. And I'm starting to piece, these puzzle pieces together, and it's like, in all these different industries and corporations, what's this obsession with? It's like, once you make it to the top, why are all the people at the top predators, sexual abusers, into minors, or it might not be into minors, but other predatory behavior, weird shit, exploiting people, blackmailing? Why is all of this going on at the top level of industries, right? Where, you would expect the people with the most power, billionaires, to be somewhat sensible, right? Like, how is it that on this planet, the most degenerate, dumb fuck people are the ones that have all the power? The most twisted mentally people have all the power, right? So this is in entertainment, right? This is the entertainment industry. But even in politics, my intuition tells me the same thing. The way, not necessarily predatory behavior, but just being fake to climb up the ladder to become a very highly well-known, established politician, famous politician. I could imagine you would have to literally sell your soul and just compromise your integrity to climb up. Like, I just know that's the case. I just know that the fundamental structure to corporate is that you can't be your authentic self. You have to agree with other people's agendas or ideas of how things should be, and they mold you to be a certain way. And then if you are liked by, because if you have to be liked to climb up, the people that are usually in these industries are fake people. So if you have to be liked by fake people, you also have to be fake. So there's no way around it. And it just seems like it's in every industry, politics. I know it's the case because when I watch the news, I can just see how fake these motherfuckers are. They don't answer questions straight. That you can just tell they're fake as shit, right? And this is the standard. That's why we say, oh, he's giving a political answer, because it's the norm. We've been conditioned to think this is normal for our leaders and politicians to be vague and to not be authentic and not actually care about making an impact and caring more about their money and pockets and power. So this obsession with power and money has taken over this planet. So I'm trying to paint a picture of the broader scope of where we are, because everything trickles down from the top down, right? So entertainment industry is cooked, absolutely cooked. I just told you, all Weinstein, Epstein, all these cunts cooked, right? Then you have media, the media corporations. I know they're cooked as well. Have you seen that movie, Nightcrawler? That shows you how cooked the media companies and these big media outlets are, because they care about clicks, headlines, views, and how do you get that? It's just attention. Well, then they care about just maximizing people's attention onto the screen. Well, then what do? They start researching into psychology and what would get your attention. Negativity, fear, shootouts, reporting on negative things activates a certain part of our psychology, like a certain dopamine or thrill, like, oh, right? They're tapping into that. So they don't care about authenticity of what the report actually is and painting a proper broader picture of what's actually going on in certain countries or in their country. They pick it apart and just do whatever sells, whatever, right? And this is being broadcasted to our homes, right? And we're being impacted. Our thoughts are getting programmed by what they're programming with us, programming us with. But if the CEOs the parent companies, the people in these positions influencing what gets aired, what is allowed. If those people are crooks, what do you think the network is going to be? And then if the network is messed up, then what do you think that's going to effect is going to have on you, the listener, when you're getting all this information? So what I'm saying is, from top, everything trickles down, and it just happens to be on this planet, for whatever the fuck reason, we keep appointing the dumbest, or not necessarily the dumbest, but the most ignorant people, right? Because they're obviously good at their job, or some part of their job, to even be in that position, right? To even be a billionaire or to be a movie director, to have those connections, you need to have some sort of social skills or skills in something, right? So these people aren't just complete degenerates. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, right? But it's like, oh, you know how to do this, Weinstein. You know how to, direct or, do whatever you're doing. But then on the other hand, on the other side, you completely are insane with your personal life, right? So it's just playing out everywhere. Politics. So we can't trust politicians because we know that they're protecting their image and their money. So can't trust politicians. Media, entertainment, can't trust that. They will sell anything they don't give a shit. They have no integrity, right? So that's media, that's government, politics, right? Healthcare, pharmaceutical companies, they're in it to make money. So they will literally sell you a pill or something that just alleviates your symptoms but doesn't actually get to the root of the condition. And so you have to keep purchasing more money, chemotherapy, certain pills that are so expensive and they don't even help you that well, but they're not going to tell you what's the real remedies, or maybe you can go over here, or Chinese medicine, or whole grain foods, or something more natural, right? They're not going to say that. They're just going to say, take this, right? Because they're a business. Even health is a business. Death is a business. Funeral homes, they want more people to die for business. So what I'm saying is, when the business model of every fucking corporation and system becomes just money and power, this is the shit show that is created, what we're in right now. Everything gets trickled down, right? So if the CEO is a Weinstein motherfucker, then he's going to employ people that are somewhat like him so that he can even put up with him, right? Because birds of a feather flock together. So if the person up top is a crook, twisted, degenerate, fucking sadist, fucking mentally insane, delusional motherfucker, he's going to bring people that are sort of like that. And then they're going to, whatever is within them is going to be expressed to the people around them, and they might hire some people that are sort of like them, and then it trickles down, and then their mentality, right? They're not spiritual people. They're obviously not spiritual, integrous people. So the policies that come after that, or the decision making, is all stems from their inner world. So that's why everything gets trickled down, and you have a corporation where it's corrupt at the top, and then as you go to the CEOs and managers and then the workers, and as it all trickles down, you're just going to get a fucked company that is making a lot of money and seems successful on the outside, but maybe their workers are treated like shit, management shit. All of it is shit because it's not built on rock. It's not built on proper foundation of truth. Anything that's not truth is not rock solid. So it's going to work for a while, and it might work for what you want, what they want, which is just make money and power. Yeah, from that lens, it's working. But in every other category or metric, you are failing bad. But they don't give a fuck about that. So this brings me to my point is, the soul and spirit is completely neglected on this planet. Systematically. Freedom, soul, spirit, truth. That's why it feels like it's missing. That's why it feels like you can't rest and just exist and be okay. This is all systematically being programmed into us. So I've talked about corporations, health, government, entertainment, media. That covers almost everything, how we get our information, what we rely on, the government, that covers pretty much all of it. And if they're all sort of fucked, what do you think's happening, right? And then you have social media. On top of media, now social media, right? Now we're in the age of the internet. So we do have some autonomy in terms of, I'm a creator. I can just upload directly to YouTube. So I don't need to go through a label or some sort of other system to get my point across and to be a creator, right? So that's good. We're having more independent people being able to just express. And that's what's helping kind of, get around the systems that are in place. But social media, now that's social engineering as well. So we're literally brainwashed into focusing on superficiality, everything that pertains to the body, what I wear, how I look, camera angles, car, house, nice hot girlfriend next to me. It's all optics. Superficial means on the surface, which means on this fucking planet, we're so fucking dumb and we've got our head up our asses that we literally think that only what can be seen has value. Only if I can see it with my eyes, then it has value. If I can see this shirt, it has value because I can point to it. It's an object. We objectify everything. Your car, oh, it's this brand. Or, this whatever, Volkswagen. Oh, then now I view you on a certain level. Oh, you work at this job. Or you own a company. Oh, now I know how to put you in my mind of how much I should respect you or value you. Oh, you're a cleaner. Oh, now I know how much to value you or respect your opinion, if it even is worth taking your opinion. Oh, you have a partner. Okay, now I increase, you gain a few more points in my mind of you're a more valuable person. And we're doing this constantly, programmed and brainwashed by social media to compare and compete. So now the society we've created, hyper superficial, we only focus on what we can see and everything else is neglected. That's why I said the spirit and soul is neglected, because you can't see your soul or spirit, right? Superficial and fixated on things that just don't matter. As I said, all this superficial shit. And then there's something else. I always do this. I forget what I was going to say. I was cooking as well. We only focus on things we can see. Anything unseen is neglected. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Hyper competitive. Hyper superficial. Hyper superficial. Everything's objectified. And then hyper competitive. So social media, competing, we say we're not competing, but secretly it's secret competition. Oh, he has this car, she has this car, he has this girlfriend, she has this boyfriend, he has this house, I have this. So fucking dumb. This is what we're doing with our time on this planet. Much ado about nothing, as Shakespeare said. It's literally nothing. It's a bunch of nothing. So that's why no one can rest. This is all being programmed. No one can rest because as soon as you rest, you think, oh, somebody else is getting ahead. You go on Instagram and go, oh my God, this person has 100,000 followers and he's doing this and he's at a fucking beach with a fucking bikini model and he's right. And so you think, oh my God, and I'm not doing enough. So now I need to do something. Restlessness. That restlessness has been programmed intentionally into us because when we're restless, what do? We go to work. We want to either work more or consume more. I'm restless. What do? Go shopping. I'm restless. What do? Eat. Eat something that makes me feel comfortable. Restless. What do? Take drugs. I'm restless. What do? Go on social media again. Go watch some entertainment, a movie on Netflix. Consuming, or consuming, purchasing, and that was what makes this capitalistic loop or system just thrive, right? They want you to feed the system, but they don't care about your soul, because your soul has nothing to do with the system. Your soul actually would get in the way of consuming and working, over consuming and overworking, and consuming the wrong things, right? And overworking your body. That's all intentional, because, right? What if now, and this is why it feels strange to be autonomous, right? If you are to take charge of your life, be authentic, and say, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, and say no to this, say no to that, no to this. Take that freedom into your own hands. That's what they're afraid of. You know, my parents are Seventh-day Adventist Christians, right? And a few days ago, they were talking to me about Sunday laws coming, right, by the Catholics, Pope, right? Sunday laws coming, and it's going to, you know, they're trying, it's an agenda to get rid of the real true religion, which is their religion, Adventism, what they think, right? So they think there's some agenda, and they're trying to, get the Adventist people out the way and make Sunday law, and that's going to be the new thing. And they're, and I'm just looking at them like, you guys are not a threat at all to any system. You are a part of the system. You are a religion, a dogma. All dogmas are not a threat to the system. You are a perfect part of the system. Religion brainwashes. Religion isn't taught in the proper way, right? It's an institution. It's business, right? It's business. So it's no different to all these other businesses. The religion, entertainment, health, right? Entertainment, the idea of it is, oh, it's not harmless, but it is. Health is, you think, oh no, it's a pharmacy, take these medications. You think, oh, that's supposed to be good for me. No, it's not necessarily. It can be good. There are good stuff in it. But even the fact that you have to discern and for yourself, like the doctors and pharmaceutical companies, they're not taking that liberty to actually make sure their products are really good. Even that is a red flag. But religion is just part of that. Why would you be a threat? Religion doesn't get people to think independently, think autonomously, to be free, to speak your mind, right? Religion is a dogma. Dogma means you blindly believe. You don't know, you just believe. Christians have circular thinking. You say, oh, what is the truth of the Bible? Like, how do you know the Bible is true? They say, because it says so in the Bible. Circular thinking. But how do you know it's true? Oh, because Jesus said so. Right? So, sheep following the sheep. I'm a threat. People like me are a threat to the system, because we get people to think critically, be autonomous, be free, right? That's the frequency that I'm coming with. That is what is a threat. Because if people think freely, they will decide, oh, maybe I don't need to consume XYZ products. Oh, maybe I don't need to watch Netflix. Oh, maybe I don't need to go through a pharmacy. Maybe I'll go and get natural remedies. Oh, maybe I don't need to slave at a job, or maybe I can, but maybe I'll choose to work here instead. Maybe my boss is saying something to me that doesn't make sense. Oh, I'm going to speak up about that. I'm not going to just let that slide. This is what free thinking excites and influences, right? This, you disrupt the system. If I, go against my boss or just speak up, that's going against, that creates tension. And that's why when you are in your soul, I know this from my own experience, when you're really in your soul and you're free and you're honest, you are a walking mirror in public. And you get a lot of love and you get a lot of hate. And the hate is everyone's inner projections being uncomfortable with how free you are. Does that not set a red flag? Why are people uncomfortable with you feeling free? Because they're not free. That's why then they become agents of the system. So the system So this is what it is, right? People, for whatever fucking reason, they can't think independently. They don't know who they are. Majority of people. They need systems, religion, parents, society to tell them who they are. That's why societal norms exist. It's a mold that you can just step right into so that everything's comfortable and on the surface and comfortable and you don't ruffle any feathers. That's what they want you to be, a product of that. That's why you see so many people in the workplace and in religion, they're all so polite and nice, right? But deep down, they're not like that, a lot of them. But they're so nice and presentable because presentable is on the surface. It's all about just what I show on the surface. That's all that fucking matters, right? So everyone's, agreeable, and that's what they want in religion. So you're compliant, so you don't question anything. That's what they want in the workforce as well. Because the bosses and managers are just people that don't think as well. They're all alike. And so when I come and question something that's completely fair enough to question, like something objective, maybe something to do with the task is giving me, I'm not doing it to be a nuisance or to just talk back for the sake of that. No, I'm genuinely asking a question that I don't understand, or you said something that doesn't really make sense to me, so I'm just questioning it, right? That's human nature, right? If you're trying to prevent us from doing that, that's sick. That's pretty much saying, do what I tell you to do, and you have no spirit, you have no freedom, you're not a real person, you're just a robot, a slave. That's what they want us to be. That's why it feels slave-like mentally. Because you're just complying for the sake of complying. You know how many people in the workforce I see, they don't even know what the fuck's going on, they just comply. You know how many times I've heard people give opinions on things and it just doesn't make sense. They're just copying, parroting something else. Then I might have a different opinion and then they go, oh yeah, I knew that too. Bitch, you don't fucking know shit. Right? So the fact that you being free makes people uncomfortable is because they know that they've been coerced into being someone that they're not, being a product of the system, making themselves smaller and being this nice, pleasant person trying to please everyone, right? People pleasing. It's just not realistic. It's just, no. The soul doesn't like that. The soul doesn't, no, it's not natural, right? So they know that they're doing that. So when they see you free, it reminds them that they've made a decision to be a part of the system. And it reminds them of how unconscious they are and everyone else. So it feels uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to bear the fact that they've decided to sell their soul to the system, right? So what they do is they have to attack you now and try to diminish you or call you crazy or dismiss you. Just something that allows them to sit with their narrative, right? And change the narrative of, no, I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do in society. No, I'm doing this because, everyone else is doing it. I'm doing it because, this is what you're supposed to do. That's the narratives that they tell themselves to make themselves feel better. And every time you come around, the truth comes around, they have to keep that narrative at play. So they have to diss you or make fun of you or try to belittle you or make you small or call you crazy, something, right? Project something because they can't live in the truth of their reality, right? So they have effectively become a product of the system. They are the agents that, in the Matrix, talk about the agents. It's just everyday people. The agents are just everyday people that have sold their soul to the system. And so this is how smart the system is. As I told you, the people up top that are controlling our perceptions, they know how psychology works. They don't have to police us. They make the rules, they make it superficial, they keep doing their degenerate shit. They don't have to police us. They know that we are going to police ourselves. We are going to police each other. Right? So the agents or the people that want to get ahead, that already are superficial, right? They don't have no sense of integrity or self or soul. It's perfect for them. And usually it's the people that are the most loudest and even narcissistic, not all the time, but usually those are the people that want to be managers and bosses and stuff. They don't mind stepping on whoever to get up there and doing whatever it takes, right? So they end up getting a lot of these positions and end up gatekeeping a lot of this shit. And then you have other people that are sort of like them that want to climb up the ranks. And so they know they're giving up a piece of their self, their soul, to do that. So they'll do it because they think it's worth it. And so they make friends with these types of people, right? All this demonic energy. That's why it feels like, it's hell here. It's because all this demonic energy. It's just the people that are programming us have programmed us into focusing on everything to do with the body and everything superficial and hyper competitive. They've programmed us to focus on our ego. The ego is everything superficial, everything no substance, fake. It's all just, they've enhanced our attachment to our ego and obsession with our ego, right? That's why everyone, ego, image, caption, photo, social media, all ego, vanity. Vanity is at an all-time high and the soul is completely neglected. We literally act like it doesn't exist. That's why we can be so cold and calculated. A lot of people can be that way, is because the soul is forgotten. You talk about the soul or spirit to someone, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Right? If it's not something I can touch or objectify and point to, or something that's going to make me money, or something that's going to get me a girlfriend, or something like that, it has no value. So they've tricked us into thinking that things that are invisible or of the soul have no value. Things like empathy, compassion, love, integrity, everything that actually matters and makes us human and makes us happy and peaceful and grounded and honest and having vulnerable, beautiful connections with each other, all of that has been distorted and put to the side and replaced with this ego fucking centric reality that we're all living in. And everyone is policing each other. That's why if you just want to be a little bit different, if you want to express yourself a little bit different, if you want to be free, if you want to actually say what's on your mind, you start feeling the tension in the room and people giving certain looks. A lot of the time people are cowardice, so they won't say it, but you can tell they're about to gossip behind you, behind your back. Or see, how is you, or coming from this energy, creating all of this weirdness, tension, fear, people gossiping, or people even sometimes they just lash out on you. They can't take it because your light and your truth is shining on their demons, and their demons can't take it, right? And so you are really a light to the world, and you have beautiful energy that people can benefit from, and they want to shut that down. They want to take your soul, kill your soul. The system at large wants to do that to you, but the way they do it is through everyday people like yourself. It's your coworker that can't stand you just being happy and free. You know how many people hate seeing other people happy because they're not happy? And they're not happy because they're in this program brainwashing. If somebody tells them, or that, hey, you are free, you're enough, you're whole as you are, you don't have to do anything, they don't believe that shit. That sounds like some fairy tale shit, like haha. They'll laugh at you, they'll eat you alive. And that's why people are so hyena like on this planet. They want to eat you alive, they want to eat your soul, right? If I've seen this play out heaps of times when I see, because I'm sort of neurodivergent, right? And there's other neurodivergent people like me, right? There's many times where I've seen someone that's, might be a little autistic, or you can just tell they're not this typical cookie cutter way of being that everyone else is. They're more neurodivergent. They express themselves. They have their little quirks to how they are, right? And they're not doing anything wrong, not hurting anyone. They mind their business, right? You know how many times I've seen these quote unquote normal people eating this person alive, right? Right? And sometimes I have to stand up for that person, or, like, and I'm just thinking, oh, wow, you would do that exact same thing to me if I wasn't so confident and switched on, right? Spiritually, mentally switched on. If I wasn't switched on, you would do that to me. You know, the shit that they tell certain people, like autistic people, or certain, it doesn't even have to be autistic, just anyone that's just anyone that's just not playing the game, not playing this, hi, how are you? Oh, playing any of that shit, right? If they know that that person is more vulnerable or kind, and they know that that person is an aggressive type of person, so they know they can get away with doing their devil shit onto that person, then that's when their hyena comes out. The hyena was always in them. They just know how to strategically pick their target based on who seems weak or who isn't capable of understanding what's going on too much. Same thing with the Predators and the Weinsteins, right? The Nickelodeon shit. Same shit. They prey on the people that they know innocent, vulnerable children, or just people that don't know any better, are vulnerable to this sort of stuff. That's what they do. So until, like, this is a long video, but until we fucking learn and realize what the fuck's going on, right? We're in an egocentric reality across the whole planet. It's across the whole planet. All governments are mostly corrupt. Or the same models, business models and ideas, it's all taking place everywhere, bro. There's religion everywhere. There's all these same sort of corporations everywhere, same sort of government, same sort of thinking, right? Even the way we think, very limited, small-minded, right? Even just thinking from the perspective of hoarding and keeping as much money for myself and the people around me, right? Like a politician, and getting as much money and only focusing on my image. As long as my image is good to the public, I don't give a fuck about all the devil shit that I do behind closed doors. As long as we're approaching it like that, this is what we're getting. And it's not going to be any different. All this fuck shit that's going on. We're so good as a planet when it comes to technology, right? Technology, infrastructure, look at everything we've built. All the inventions that have taken place, all the people that have contributed to everything we've built collectively, electricity, technology, fucking we're going to fucking Mars, for goodness sake. We've been to the moon. All this shit we can do. But just as humans, on a human-to-human relation, connection, poor. In the Stone Age, before the Ice Age, that's how backwards and unevolved we are when it comes to emotional intelligence, spirituality, integrity, health, peace, love. We talk about these things, but it's not being implemented at all. We just like to talk about it. Why do we like to talk about it? Because if we actually said the truth about what the fuck is going on, it looks so nasty and embarrassing that we have to always show an image. That's why there's even a thing of being nice and polite in public. If a lot of these people revealed who they were, it's so disgusting and embarrassing that they can't do it. That's why the dark or the devil always has to hide. The devil dies when it's exposed to the light because it's so embarrassing. So that's why we keep up a public image or an image on social media or an image when we go to work, and then behind closed doors it's something else entirely. And the systems, as I said, that be are literally hyper-focusing on our ego and how they can play with our ego, our minds, to make us more desiring shit that we don't need, they want us horny just so that we can do things, act. They want us emotional. They want us erratic. They want us subscribing to so many different things, because when you subscribe to religion here and this different way, they want you to subscribe to a thinking model. Religion is a thinking model. Certain corporation models of how you should be and behave, it's a thinking model. So they want you to subscribe to these thinking models so that you don't think. You have no independent thought. Why do they want you to have no independent thought? Because if you did, you would realize all the fuckery that's going on. You would start connecting the dots, and you wouldn't partake in the fuckery and the circusry that's going on, and you would tell other people and influence them to do the same. That is the threat. You think people like Jesus wanted to go against the grain in the time that he was alive? You think he wanted to go against the rabbis and society and the structures that be? Do you think I want to do that? I don't like doing this. I don't like speaking about this, really. He's doing it just relative to the society that he's living in. If society was based on truth, he wouldn't have to, Jesus' mission wouldn't even exist. There would be no need for it. If the people that were actually in the positions of power were actually had character, that's another thing we don't do. We don't screen the people that we put in positions of power for true character, because we don't give a fuck about that. We only care about making money and upholding an image and having leverage and power. When that becomes the intentions, this is what happens. Everything that you see manifesting externally is a result of everything that's happening internally. So if a lot of people are fucked up internally, what the fuck do you think is going to manifest out of them? And God forbid, we're putting these people in positions of power? Oh my God. This is who you're making the president? Someone that has all this power. He can make his country and another country go to war. And you're giving that power to a fucking narcissistic dickhead? Oh my God, no shit, this is going to happen. Instead of appointing people in power that are clean, people like me, right? Not saying me because I'm not a politician, but just someone that has character in all of these positions need to be in the positions of power. Otherwise, the whole thing crumbles, bro. It's ridiculous, bro. The soul, do you know how offensive that is? God is the reason all this exists, but the true essence of God is completely buried in the ocean. It doesn't even exist. You might as well say it doesn't exist. And people say, oh, religion exists. That's not God. That's not the true essence of God. Jesus came and told people to be autonomous and free and loving and spoke his truth. And what happened to him? Crucified, tortured, gossiped about. They ruined his image, or he didn't have an image, but they ruined his name, his legacy, because they're just making up shit, lying about him, finding dirt on him that there's no dirt. That's the thing, and that's what happens. Same thing that happens here right now. They can just make up something, even me, just make some shit up about me, right? I'm not a threat because I don't have a lot of viewers. Like if I was Andrew Tate and I was speaking like this and I had a big platform, a lot of viewers, then I was becoming more of a threat. But right now I'm not a threat, right? So who are the real threats, right? But as I was saying, Jesus oh my God, bro. Jesus, we know how he was in terms of who his character was, right? Just full of light, love, and integrity. That's the man you crucify, torture, and lie on his name and kill and hang up on a cross? And meanwhile, they requested for Barabbas to get free. This is our society. Stay here with me. Stay here with me. The rabbis, the religious leaders, preferred if Barabbas, a convicted murderer, gets out of jail for free. He had no business getting out of jail. They know he's literally a murderer. The people in society are happy to let a murderer go free and just to put Jesus in jail and just to hang Jesus on the cross and kill him. That's how much hate, if you want to really feel into the amount of hate is on this planet. That's how much hate is on this planet. See, people think that people hate negative things, or like we hate a dictator or something like that. No. Of course, the people that are affected by that hate him, the civilians, whatever. But they're not a threat, actually. It's the people that are free and happy and loving and can actually cause change in people and get them to see themselves in their fullness and see who they really are and awaken people. That's who's a threat. And it shows because you killed and tortured a loving man that did nothing wrong. And then the person that's done a lot of wrong, murdered people, you're happy to let him go free? So you know that this man has killed people, and guess what? You've put him back out on the streets, and you know that he's very highly likely he's going to go on a murder spree or kill more people. And you're happy to sit with that in your conscience just because you have so much hate for somebody who represents love. That's what we've done on this fucking planet. Everything's backwards and twisted. It's laughable. It's laughable when anyone talks about anything with integrity. It's laughable. It's comedy. Because that's the situation. And it's no different in today's time. The rabbis of that time are just religious leaders in a structure, in dogma, religion. There's plenty of that going on right now. That's why the person, ironically, that's crucified is somebody like me. Someone that's loving. Because when you're loving and free and honest, it mirrors back to the people that they're not like that. And they get irritated. Because intuitively, somewhere in their dumb mind, they know that this is how a normal human is supposed to be. And they know they're far from that. That's why they do everything in the dark and hide it. And manipulate and lie. And they all this manipulation is just because they can't, inability to sit with the truth. It's so much easier just to build a healthy planet, right? I'm going to wrap the video up pretty soon. But this is the solution. It's so fucking easy to just appoint good people, right? There's healthy, smart, intelligent people with good character in every field. In politics, in media, entertainment, health, every industry, right? Sports, anything. Every industry, there's shit cunts and there's a few good apples that are fully righteous or have integrity, right? No one's perfect, but at least you stem, where you stem from is integrity, right? There's plenty of people that could be in those positions, but they'll never be there because the world doesn't give a fuck about that. It goes against their programming and their intention of hoarding everything for themselves, putting out a certain perception to the public to cover themselves, and then secretly with their friends or certain people doing all the dirty shit. How long are we going to keep going with this model, man? This fucking model, this same model playing out everywhere. How long? How long do we want to keep doing this? It gets to a point where humans struggle to even connect or relate because everything's getting filtered through judgment, filtered through all this stupid programming. So the solution is step away from the phone, step away from all this shit, right? Regain your autonomy, right? Sit in silence, what everyone's afraid of. Even that's a red flag. Why is everybody afraid of sitting in silence? When the default nature of any human is to be silent. Before a word is spoken, it's silent. So to try to escape silence is fucking insane, you don't think? Everyone's trying to escape silence and feel the void and You can never feel the void. Silence is always the case. It's the truth. It's always in the background. So imagine every time it gets silent, you have to do something or fidget with something. How insane and tiresome would that be? Why do you think everyone's tired, exhausted, drained? They're not being who they are, who they're meant to be. All of this is false. All this image, even the idea of having an image or a reputation is only relation to all of this ego-centric behavior. I need to maintain my image. That's what everyone's doing, is just maintaining their image. So they show up to work and they're just protecting their image. They can never say a real thing out of their mouth because that will break the unspoken rules, right? And why are all these societal rules unspoken? Because if we speak about it, we'll see how dumb they are and it'll expose how dumb they are. So we have to keep it all unspoken and hidden and just keep playing, right? In a fucking performance. It's all a performance. The soul doesn't perform. The soul, the spirit doesn't give a fuck about performance. It just bees. It just exists. Like me, like right now, how I'm speaking, free, ha. It's effortless. We can't be effortless. We don't know how to be effortless. Because you have 1,000,001 things in your brain going, oh, you can't rest. Oh, what about her? Brain rot. But we don't call it brain rot. We call it normal. We call it being a member of society, a productive member of society. Society doesn't give a fuck about you. I give a fuck about you. And what happens is the people that actually give a fuck about you, like me, like a Jesus, just anyone that's full of love and integrity, right? Anyone that actually gives a fuck about you, you persecute that person. The one hope you had of connecting to something deeper, something real, you fucking cut it. And you do it all subconsciously. And it's working perfectly. The people up here, they've worked this perfectly. They don't have to come down and snatch me off the streets and say, hey, stop being free or stop being the way you are. No, they'll just get all their foot soldiers, all the co-workers, all the random people in public, all the people say NPCs, right? Robotic, because they just follow out programming. They don't think, right? A lack of independent thinking is the death to humanity. Death to society is a lack of independent thinking, critical thinking. If you can't think for yourself, you're a puppet or a clone. You have no free agency. Someone will say, do this. Okay, I guess I should do this. I'll go to work. Okay. What are you? Are you a product? Are you a human? Are you alive? These are the conversations we don't have. Everyone's too afraid to have it. And we do all this super focused on everything superficial and objects and money and all this, and we're just gonna die and realize none of that you can take with you. We're only here temporarily, so cultivating spirit and true connection is what actually matters, because that's what you're actually here for on this planet, is to evolve, grow, learn, experience things through different dimensions and what it means to be a human, to experience love, connection, growth, fear, all of the negative things as well. But we're making it extra hard for no reason. We're making it harder on ourselves for no reason. That's where the dumbness exists. Life already has its challenges. We don't need to fucking gatekeep and program ourselves into not being free just to make simple things hard. Now everything is transactional. Hello is transactional. I only say hello to you because I know, you drive this type of car and you're worth saying hello to. It's worth engaging with you. Oh, this person here, it's all status. Superficiality, status, posturing, image. That's what reality has become fundamentally at its core. Because all the programming, as I just told you, only focuses on that. It doesn't go any deeper than that. It wants you to stay here. Because if you go deeper, you'll question. Something doesn't seem right. Something looks off. No, don't go there. Don't go there. Come back up. Come back up. No, but something looks off. I don't know. No. Come back up. Why do they not want you to? That's a red flag. Why do they not want you to question? Because they know if you do, it breaks everything. And unfortunately, it's other human beings like yourself that are killing your soul unintentionally. A lot of the time, unintentionally. They've been brainwashed, programmed, and they see you being free and they just reactive. They're just, oh, no. But they won't say it in those words because they're not conscious of what's going on. They don't know what's going on in their subconscious. They'll think of it as, hey, you're just being weird. That's all it seems to them, is just, you're just being weird, or you're being too much, or you're not normal. That's how they perceive it, because they haven't done any sort of critical thinking themselves. That's why they're robotic. They just talk for it's like they're literally talking for the system like a robot, right? And this is what has been designed, perfectly fucking designed. It's a good design, isn't it? Clever. Clever. Not that smart, but clever. Fool everyone, huh? Wow. This is what this planet has become. And as I said, this isn't all a negative spill. We have, as I said, technologically, we've made great advancements. We already have all the structures, everything built in every country. All we need to do is redirect our intention, align with integrity. I know in reality, it's not as easy as that because everyone's so fucking full of themselves and egoic that it's going to take time for people to heal, and a lot of people don't even want to heal. So this is why this is such a big problem. They don't have an incentive to heal because they're enjoying getting away with their egoic dumb games. They're enjoying getting away with their desires and stupid shit, and all. They're enjoying being in that game. So unfortunately, we have to wait, I guess, for people, I just want fucking just to clean this shit up. I do. There's a part of me that just wants to clean this shit up and just fucking get rid of these leaders and change them, and right? But I know in reality that it's not the way it works, right? Nature has a way of doing things on nature's time, but a lot of the time it just feels like it's taking so long, you know what I mean? And it is taking long because we keep repeating the same dumb fuck behaviors, right? We don't change. We keep the same structures, and anyone that is, someone that comes to invoke change or look at something different, we shut that person down. And it's very easy to shut that person down because people like me are very few. We're the minority. So when you have a big majority shutting one person down, it just makes it look like, oh yeah, they're all correct and you're wrong, because that's how they play into that. Strength with numbers. Same thing they do in the workforce. They align, groups come together. That's how they have power. They literally have no power on their own. That's why they need to come together and make a system or make a group, right? Even that, like social groups, even social groups can be a cult, right? You can't just be yourself and be free and enter a social group. They want you to kind of be like them and talk like them, or they want to adjust your energy to be like them. That's all the same bullshit, just happening on a lower scale, on not as a crazy, but a lower scale. But it's the same blueprint, is what I'm saying. Gatekeeping, policing, judging, ego behavior, looking at each other only through the lens of ego, only based on what I can see from you, what car you drive, house, everything that I just mentioned, right? That's where we function, where we intersect, is right there on the surface and nothing else. And it all gets perpetuated. And as I said, it's very easy to make somebody look like a scapegoat or look crazy. That only works because a lot of people aren't critically thinking. So when they just see the visual, remember, visual, objectify, one person and 10 people, oh, he must be wrong. He has to be wrong because all 10 people can't be wrong, surely. No, it's called religion. There's billions of people that are all wrong together. But because you're deluded together, you think you're not, right? Because deep down, you don't care. The people that are part of it in, say, like religion now, talking specifically, for example, as long as they're all in it together, they actually don't care too much, because even if what they're, even if it's wrong, right? Even if they find out, oh, that was all wrong, they feel comfortable knowing, well, at least we're wrong together. Haha. Like, at least, I didn't know. That's all it is. They all know they think they don't think. So they're literally dependent on each other to feel warmth, right? Because when there's many people around, it creates warmth. Literally and metaphorically. When I'm standing by myself, I'm more naked, I'm cold. I have to fully stand on my own convictions and my own truth. Try to get them to do that one-on-one. They fucking crumble. They run to the fucking shitter. They cannot do it. They'll buckle and they can't do it. Can't stand on their own. So they need at least one more person, 2 more people, 3 people, and then they get all confident, right? It's just so pathetic, so weak, right? That's another red flag. Why is it that many people can't stand on their own and one person speaking the truth has more confidence than them? Get you to think. So it's about to be an hour, man. I really wanted this video to be shorter, but I don't care because there's a lot that we covered. And I know when I speak like this, it can be very intense and very overwhelming to get all of this at once, the way I'm channeling this energy and just hitting you from all angles. I'm not trying to overwhelm anyone, but guys, I have to say this with this conviction and energy, because when you really think about how nasty the systems and the world is at a large scale, with from a bird's eye view, bro, it's not about the delivery of what I'm saying. It's not about the messenger. It's about the message. Who gives a fuck about my delivery? And I need to deliver it in this way because I'm I'm hinting at the sense of urgency. If I just talk about it like this, it doesn't feel urgent. It's urgent. It is urgent. There's nothing more important than this. Matters of the soul and spirit and the state of the world. I mean, everything else is baby shit compared to this, right? We literally have the power to clean up the world. This is where I'll leave it. We have all the money and power. What we need to do is get every country up to scratch and have housing and just regular life applicable to every single person. No person should be in poverty or famine or suffering, right? We're in fucking 2026. We have enough money and resources to go around, but we're not doing that because we don't give a fuck. Once again, how do I benefit from that? How do I profit for that? I lose money trying to help other countries, right? That's why we just give aid to certain countries, knowing that they're going to be dependent on us again and again and again, because we don't actually want to enforce actual change so that these underdeveloped countries can develop on their own and create their own economies and become stable on their own and grow over time and be independent. No, countries like America want countries reliant on them. So they never let them grow on their own or give them enough to just grow on their own and to rise up. They want to fucking kill that's what they're doing in the Middle East. It's just stopping countries essentially from rising up independently and gaining any sort of power. Right? It's completely power plays. It's all power play everywhere. Power play, corporate power play, government power play, blah, 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 blah. Can't help ourselves. That's why we can never move forward. We talk about change and act like, oh, we're moving forward. We're moving forward very slowly in this area. We're not moving forward because no one actually is willing to do this, right? Too much greed. As I said, ego, everything connected to the ego, greed, all this shit is what's running the world. So we could make all these developing countries to be up to scratch where at least everyone can have a fucking home, running water, some food, shelter, all the basic survival needs. We can achieve that globally, easily. Then from there, once everyone is good and housed and happy and they can earn money and, an economy and earn money and provide for their family. Once that's the basics, that's what we need to and then once that's achieved, then we can evolve even more spiritually and dismantle the systems that be and realize our entertainment industry, we only want the good entertainment, the true music. Health, clean that shit up. No, we only want the true health, the true shit that's actually helpful, actually healthy, right? Sustainable, not just on the surface, on the symptoms. Once again, surface, even the fucking medical industry. And then we do the same thing in every industry. This is the only way forward, cleaning this shit up. And ironically, it's easier to do this if we all work together. It's very easy. We're just stubborn and selfish, overly selfish. That's it. That's it, man. That's where I'll leave the fucking video. Yeah. A lot of you might not even make it to the end of this video, but I don't know, bro. It's ridiculous, bro. It's so offensive how much the soul is neglected on this planet. It's a complete joke, right? So everything else becomes a joke because the one thing that is of real is neglected. So everything's a joke. That's why everything is just clown, dumb, ignorant behavior, stupid shit you're seeing all over the place, because it all stems from this, right? So hope I didn't bum you out, but it's just the truth, man. And the truth needs to be spoken sometimes. So I'll leave the video there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.